Hello, hello! In this video, I am getting cozy and discussing 3 of my favorite books that have inspired my video editing journey in one way or another. Each of these books were given to me probably by my mom around the time when I was in high school. I read them like crazy, and they were part of the reason that I decided to end up going to film school and ultimately get into the film industry. All 3 of these books can be found below in the description if you are interested in picking up one of your own copies. And if you're excited to dive into this, please hit the like button below and hit subscribe for more tips on video editing, creativity, and freelance lifestyle. Let's dive in. Book number 1, Rebel Without a Crew. In this book, Robert Rodriguez is a young and budding, passionate filmmaker, and he uses both his street smarts and his creativity to create a feature film for only $7,000. Now, whenever I think of guerrilla filmmaking, this book is definitely what comes to mind. I was so inspired by this book as a kid because it represented to me essentially what filmmaking is all about. It's about creating art using whatever means possible and solving problems creatively, which usually ends up leading to a more rewarding overall experience. This book is full of moments like that, where Robert needed to use either just common sense or networking skills or a heck of a lot of creativity in order to get this film made and noticed by big Hollywood. Filmmaking is an art, but it's one of the most expensive arts out there. This book taught me that it's not about how much money you have, and it's also not about who you already know. It revolves around the idea that you can literally achieve all your dreams if you're willing to put in the hard work and think creatively to essentially skip around the rules of how things should be done. I would suggest getting this book if you are feeling either a little bit jaded by the film industry, which is very common, or if you are just beginning your journey into the film industry. From writing to shooting to post-production, this book is filled with tips and with stories that will help you in future projects of your own. Peppermint tea. Book number 2, What They Don't Teach You in Film School by Camille Landau and T.R. White. This bullet form, list-heavy strategy book is filled with gold when it comes to movie making tips, whether you went to film school or not, with topics like why writing is so important, how to stop being shy about your work, and most importantly, biggest sound mistakes to avoid. This book is filled to the brim with valuable content packed into easy to read lists and sections. Why does this book inspire me? For one, I'm a pretty slow reader, and the way this book is structured made it very easy for me to read. I also, of course, love that it's written by 2 females. We love that representation for us. I also love that even though I went to film school, there was so much that I needed to learn that was only achievable by work experience. And this book taught me so much about essentially the common sense of filmmaking, or the common sense of the world of filmmaking. The street smarts, essentially what you would only know about filmmaking from doing a lot of projects. After reading What They Don't Teach You in Film School, even though I ended up going to film school, I felt incredibly free to trust my own common sense and my own instincts. I felt very free to do what I wanted and essentially to just go out there and start creating the projects that I wanted to see. They even actually end the book with that, spoiler alert. The very last strategy of the book is simply, if you want to make films, make films. And I love that. And it's something that I continue to stand by years and years later. Book number 3, Making Movies by Sidney Lumet. Sidney Lumet is a famous director that is responsible for movies like 12 Angry Men and Dog Day Afternoon. From his decades of experience, Sidney gives his insight on the best movie making tips over his career. These tips cover the entire filmmaking process, from dealing with actors to shooting large-scale scenes to post-production and the importance of sound design. The writing in this book is very relatable and conversational, which is a big reason why it was easy for me to read and I enjoyed it so much reading it as a kid. So there are a lot of great lessons in this book. And of course, all aspects of filmmaking are very important. However, I titled this video with books that inspired my video editing journey. So for the sake of that, we're just gonna talk about post-production section in this book, which is called The Cutting Room. I would also like to note, now that I am 3 books into this video, that in the editing section of all of these books, they refer to linear editing systems, i.e. actual film, because these books are a little bit older and film production was not that long ago. While some of the terminology may not apply to you, it is important to know the history of film editing, and also the techniques are still the same. So points like how to properly cover a scene and what that means for both the shooting crew and for the editors. Sidney also mentions the difference in atmosphere between a high energy production and a cutting room, and how it changes the filmmaking experience for him. He also touches on subliminal editing and a lot more. It was after reading Making Movies that I was so inspired to be a video editor. I fell in love with the stories about the editing atmosphere and how different it was from a normal production, and also how editing can make or break a film. It spoke to me so much that this book inspired the next video editing book and the next video editing technical book and all of the books after that that I own today. All of these books, again, discuss the entire filmmaking process rather than just the technicals of editing. I think it's really important to learn and to understand and to respect all the different departments and areas of the filmmaking process so that you can decide if editing really is your passion or not, and how your specific passion and your specific skills can fit into the editing world in the very best way. Again, all of these books can be found down below in the description if you are interested in being book buddies. And hey, since you made it this far, please hit the like button below if you wouldn't mind, and hit subscribe for more tips on video editing, creativity, and freelance lifestyle. Check out these videos next for more tips on video editing books and video editing tips. Again, I'm Colleen. Thank you to my team, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Have the best one.